Hi guys, welcome back to the channel, FPL Consult here, and today we're gonna take a look at the best transfer targets for Game Week 4. Right, if you guys enjoy the content on this channel, please help me out and give this video a like and also subscribe if you are new around here. It massively helps the channel. Right, so we're gonna first talk about our first transfer target, and it's on none other than Gundogan. Right, as of now, I feel he's the best Manchester City asset to own for the following reasons. Right, he's 0.5 million cheaper than most of the other 8 mil options. Right, he's more nailed than them, of course. Right, behind KDB and Rodri, he's had the most minutes out of the other midfielders, and he's also been named club captain. Right, so you'd expect him to get a little bit more, of an important role in the squad. Right, and as on top of that, right, the positions he's getting into at this point in time just makes it seem as if he's a second striker to Haaland. Right. The heat map, you can see that there's a hot patch on the penalty spot, and that's what we like to see, right? We like to see a midfielder that's getting very involved near the goal, right? And also at this point in time, he's been looking very sharp. 2 goals in 3 starts, and expected goals per 90 of 0.41, and also expected assists per 90 of 0.21. Right, with a very nice run of fixtures coming up as well, it's looking very likely that Gundogan is going to continue getting returns. So I'd say that it's criminal for him to be at 4.3% ownership. I'm definitely going to be bringing him in soon, right? And of course, those of you who can't afford to bring him in right now, right, I definitely recommend doing that. Next up, we have the star performer in defense for Game Week 3, right? Coming off a 12-pointer in Game Week 3, it's no surprise Ivan Perisic makes the transfer targets list, and I'm sure it's going to be transferred in by many as well, right? So to be honest, we saw how the assist that he got in Game Week 3 went, right? He got a little lucky, right? Flicked on a corner from Son, and thereafter Kane went on to score, right? But what we are investing in and banking our money on is not these kind of assists, right? Of course, it'd be good if that happens, but rather what I like about him is the positions he's getting himself into, right? Many a times he's functioning like a left forward, right? Making those darting runs and also getting himself in good positions as well to put in dangerous crosses, and also potentially he got himself in a lot of good spots to kind of take shots as well, right? So maybe some goals in store for him there as well. Previously, what put me off was his minutes, right, and how he was being eased into the team in the starting few game weeks. But I think as of now, Conte has pretty much given us the assurance that, he is ahead of Sessegnon. So I'm much more confident of Perisic's minutes right now and his potential as an FPL asset. And I'm thinking we could possibly be looking at the next Cancelo of Spurs. So our next transfer target is Ivan Toney, and he's been extremely consistent as a performer for Brentford, right? Getting returns regardless of the result of Brentford's games, right? So with Toney, you know what you're getting. You're getting a nailed starter who plays 90 minutes every game, and he's the main focal point of the Brentford attack, which has been very impressive of late. And of course, he's on penalties as well, right? Which just adds to his attractiveness. And also, Brentford are top of the fixture ticker for the next 6 game weeks, with the chances Toney's been getting: expected goals per 90 of 0.43, expected assists per 90 of 0.39. I'd be very surprised if we don't see a couple of double-digit hauls from him soon, right? And the key issue we may face is that he's at a price point where it isn't easy to fit him into our teams. Most of us have an 11.5 premium forward and a Jesus, right? And to get a 7.2 million forward may cause us to really compromise other areas, which I can imagine is what is putting most people off Ivan Toney. But if there's a transfer route that you can work out for you to get Toney without compromising too much on your other areas of the team, right, you could be looking at a really good differential. Next up is the Brighton boys, and those in serious contention will be the two on the screen right now, right? Trossard and Groß. Brighton is the second on the fixture ticker for the next 6 game weeks behind Brentford, so I'm expecting some attacking returns to really come from these players on the screen right now, right? So we have found over the weekend that it's not Groß on penalties, but rather McAllister. So that's one thing that may put us off Pascal Gross, right? But we can't deny the fact that, across the past couple of game weeks, the positions he's been getting into is pretty good. Right, so what we have on our hands essentially is a Brighton attacker that we know has been the best attacker of last season in Leandro Trossard, right? Joint top scorer with Neil Maupay last season with 8 goals. And then there's Groß, who's proving himself this season as a promising attacker for Brighton as well. Right, so based on the first 3 game weeks, the stats for Groß edges the stats for Trossard with a slightly higher XG and XA. So even so, I still think it's pretty tight between the two, and it's really a question of funds at this point, right? Do you think that Trossard is worth the extra 0.7 mil, right? At this price range, it's pretty tricky, because if you don't have Martinelli, then I'd surely say that Martinelli over a 6.5 million Trossard, is preferred, right? But assuming you do have Martinelli, and if you do have excess funds still, right, to afford Trossard, then possibly I would go for Trossard, right? And then obviously if we are short on funds, then Groß would be the option. But once again, it's really tight. I know the Brighton fans themselves actually prefer Trossard as an attacking option, and he's slightly better as an attacker, right? And I see myself leaning that way as well, right? But let me know what you guys think. If you are going for a Brighton attacker, are you going to go for Trossard or Groß? Or let me know down in the comments below. Lastly is the Leeds boys, who really impressed me over the first 3 game weeks, and they're coming off a 3-0 win over Chelsea. So very impressed with them, Rodrigo and Aaronson in particular. But of course there's also Harrison that we can consider, but I've decided to put Aaronson here ahead of him because for those of you who are considering a much cheaper option, Aaronson is at 5.5 mil, right? So it's worth noting to start off that Rodrigo is playing as a striker, right? He is listed as a midfielder and he's playing as a striker in Bamford's absence. So that's already a real good plus point, and that also kind of explains the stats that we see here, right? Rodrigo is getting much better chances, taking more shots, etc. And on top of that, he's also pretty much on penalty duties until Bamford returns, which may take a while, right? So we're looking at a really good out of position asset here. And as for Aaronson, he's basically a hard worker, right? A determined young lad, puts in a shift for the team, creates a lot of chances, and we could see in the game against Chelsea as well, he just works really, really hard. So the thing about Aaronson as well that kind of adds to his attractiveness is that he shares set pieces with Harrison, right? So another plus point for him there. And now I'm going to put it out there that there are tough fixtures for Leeds over the next 3 game weeks, even though the Premier League fixture ticker has listed Brighton and Brentford away as green fixtures for Leeds, right? I don't expect them to be easy games for Leeds at all. Right, so honestly, I think that, I don't want to be a bummer and ruin the Rodrigo or Aaronson hype train, but I honestly do think Leeds may struggle a bit there, right? Famous last words, but that is very, very possible. So there is some risk associated with jumping on these assets right now, right? But that aside, if Leeds are able to, carry on their good form, right? And there's also a good chance that they are a good attacking outfit, so there is a good chance they can carry this form through, right? And if that's the case, then you would expect these players on the screen right now to be at the forefront of the returns, right? So for those of you considering Leeds assets, right, Rodrigo, Aaronson, and Harrison are decent options to consider, right? So that wraps up our transfer list for the game week 4 transfer targets. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, please drop it a like and also subscribe if you're new to the channel, right? It massively helps. And also please let me know down in the comments below, right, which of these attackers or defenders are you intending to go for, or who are you transferring in for game week 4, right? Let me know down below, and I'll see you guys very soon in another video, right? Bye bye.